Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail. I am here at the NRF Big Show in New York City, and I'm joined on this episode by Linh Calhoun, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Replacements. We're going to talk to Linh. She actually spoke here at the event earlier this morning. We're going to talk to her a little bit about the Replacements business, as well as its partnership with Emarsys. So thanks for joining me today, Linh.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
So for those in the audience that might not be familiar with Replacements and its business, why don't you give us a quick overview of the work that you do?
My pleasure. Our founder and CEO started Replacements in 1981 as he lived for the weekends and a passion for the thrill of the hunt. And he turned that passion into the business we know today, where over the last 40 years, we have preserved and archived over 450,000 patterns that represent roughly 11 million pieces of china, crystal, silver, or collectibles that we store in our warehouse in North Carolina, just waiting for a new home. And our intent and our mission really is to match that right piece with that right customer so that she, typically a she, but certainly he's too, can take that and really be inspired to pass along or create new traditions and really help each generation to entertain, celebrate, and gather.
And those products you talked about, obviously sold through an e-commerce website, storefronts. Tell us a little bit about distribution channels.
Absolutely. So our primary means of finding us is replacements.com. That's where most of our business comes, and it is so easy to find us through our website. We do have one showroom, which is the mecca of all things tableware. So I certainly invite you to come down to North Carolina, because we would love to give you a tour where you can see firsthand our stacked to the rafters inventory and find your pattern and likely your grandmother's pattern as well. And we still have a call center. So if you have any questions and are not quite comfortable with that website yet, give us a call, because we would love to hear from you.
Now that we know a little bit more about Replacements, so I'd like to know a little bit more about you personally, Linh. So tell us a little bit about your role and your kind of professional background and what's led you to Replacements.
Absolutely. I think I finally have my dream job. And what that is the CMO at Replacements, and I've been there for about 6.5 years now. And why it's my dream job is that I get to do both the analytics, the art, and the science of all things consumer, which is something that I love. People, customers. I started my career really, I think as most people do, having a part-time job at a drugstore doing customer service. And back in the day, it was Osco Drug. And I worked my way through high school and, of course, summer college breaks doing that. And somehow I evolved into from marketing major, business major, working at LL Bean, which I think is the quintessential starting point for a retailer who has a love for the customer. LL Bean's story really resonated with me. And so I've been on this path of doing all things marketing and product or merchandising for the past, 25 plus years. It's probably more like 30, but I don't like to date myself like that. But I just have been in retailing all my career, love what I get to do, and love the people I get to work with.
So you talked about the customer a little bit and kind of merging that data and the art and science of marketing. One piece of that is personalizing the customer experience. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges, frankly, that many retailers encounter, including Replacements, as they look to personalize that, particularly the online shopping experience?
Yes. So when I think of Replacements, we have always been focused on one-to-one personalization with our customers. We want to understand what patterns are you collecting, because we want to be able to provide you with all those piece types that you may want to add to that pattern. So we have been doing that from day one. Our challenge has been really around how do we evolve that and introduce different touch points that add value. And our partnership with Emarsys really allowed us to introduce those additional email touch points, those traditional cart abandon workflows where thanks for visiting our site, you left this in your cart. But how do we do that in a seamless as seamless of a way as possible while maintaining our focus on those patterns that that customer has expressed interest in.
So as a business that's really sought to get that one-to-one customer experience, talk a little bit about the role technology and some of the technology solutions that you've put into place to address the need to give that personalized shopping experience.
We have a legacy website and database, which is wonderful. It really serves our business well. We started partnering with Amarsis starting in around 2017. And what we wanted was a more sophisticated email management platform than our internal system. Now, we could do a lot with our internal system, but we wanted to refine that and make it a little more automated and intuitive. And so we were able to execute and scale automation email triggers, such as the browse and abandons that I mentioned to you, as well as other types of email communications. We wanted a platform that could deliver our communications quickly, provide us with performance metrics, because we all know performance is key to marketing, and provide us with the ability to refine segments and better understand our customers.
So, especially here at a show like NRF, there's tons of providers out there, solution providers that offer that. Talk about the relationship with Amarsis and why it's the right partner for replacements.
You know that saying, right time, right size, right costs, and we connected. We just honestly connected with the team at Amarsis, and we built a very collaborative relationship where we would ask questions, they would provide us with ideas for solutions, and we have really been able to build upon that. So what started as just a fundamental kind of evolution of our emails has turned into how do we utilize recommendation widgets, whether it be on our site or through our emails. And now we're talking about how do we incorporate and more seamlessly adopt to SMS, and how can Amarsis really help us improve and be better.
So you talk about this long-standing partnership that you've had with Amarsis. As you think about business benefits when you get this done right, you personalize the customer experience, what is the end result that you're tracking? You talked about tracking performance as well. Can you maybe share a little bit about business benefits that you've seen as a result of working with Amarsis and getting that one-to-one customer experience?
Having shared goals, being clear as to metrics, Amarsis has allowed us to establish metrics, learn from them, look for ways to test and improve. And I think through our continued partnership in our weekly conversations, we're able to work together to move our business forward in a way that provides incremental benefit or revenue, because we are all very focused on that piece, while also looking to scale. And so first test, but then scale these technologies in a way that makes sense.
And then as we have this conversation here at NRF and a couple weeks into the year, can you talk a little bit about potential growth opportunities? What are some of the things that you're focused in on as we think about growth for replacements in 2023?
As we think about growth in the upcoming year, and specifically the ways we will work with Amarsis, is we're really focused on, as I mentioned earlier, how do we most effectively incorporate texting into both the way we communicate to customers and the way that we could receive communications from customers. In addition to that, I mentioned their recommendation widgets. How do we evolve the recommendation widgets so that they can provide the best reference to our customers who are shopping our website, and then in turn provide us with the best data so that we can be better in our communication?
So you noted kind of SMS as an opportunity. Talk a little bit about that program, from one, getting your customers opted into receiving messaging from replacements, and then also kind of the cadence and the type of messaging that they'll receive from the brand.
When we started with SMS, we started with Attentive, and that was really a test to see if we could get our customers to opt in and what degree of interest was there. And we actually did see a good degree of interest. So now that we have established a baseline in terms of those customers who have opted in and selected to receive marketing communications via SMS, how do we then integrate it into Amarsis in a way that we can then refine the communication strategy in our terms as it relates to customer, what is your preference, SMS, email? a little bit of both. Okay, great. Let's manage that through the singular platform, and how can we evolve that so we can scale, as I mentioned earlier, and be engaging with our customers in a relevant way that keeps them connected to us.
And giving that customer the flexibility, the option, how they want to engage is what you want to give them the opportunity to do.
Absolutely. We want customers to be able to say, yes, I do want that information from you, and here's the preferred way of communication.
Perfect. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Linh Calhoun, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Replacements, for joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, Linh.
Thank you, Joe, and I hope you visit us at replacements.com and make sure you register your patterns with us so we can let you know all about them.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.